We're live. We're doing this. Hey, everybody. Tyler Florence here. Welcome to Wolf It Down. So excited to be with you again this week. And as always, we are in the studio with Matt Massera, our corporate culinary director. And then also Amanda Gold, my producer.
Who's in the fishbowl.
Who's in the fishbowl today. You got a brand new backdrop.
I got a brand new backdrop.
It was very exciting.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get.
You never know what you're going to get. Amanda's backdrop is like a box of chocolates, right? Every week is going to be something a little different, right? But we're so excited to be with you guys today. Thank you so much for joining us again. And we're super excited about the podcast. This is episode number 7. Right? So we've been cranking this out for 7 weeks now.
My goodness.
Yeah, and it's starting to get sticky. We're getting lots of really good positive feedback all over the place. And again, you can watch this on Instagram TV. You can watch this on YouTube. You can also subscribe to it on iTunes and also Spotify. So wherever you like to get your podcast, we are there for you. And we're just having a really, really good time. And today is no different. We're going to have a great episode today because we have a very special guest coming.
And it's also St. Patrick's Day.
I was going to say Happy St. Patty's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm not wearing any green, though.
I would pinch you.
See, that's why you gave me some green in my background, Nick. Well, St. Patty's Day nod.
That was Matt's idea.
I had a green juice.
Oh, Matt.
I'm green on the inside. Does that matter? Does that count?
Like Kermit?
It's not easy being green. It's not, right? But today we're super excited because my fellow Discovery host, Mr. Jesse Tyler Ferguson, is going to be joining us today. Jesse Tyler Ferguson joined Discovery as the new host of Extreme Makeover Home Edition a couple of years ago. And I had a chance to co-host an episode with him last year, so we'll get a chance to catch up on that. But my brother has got a brand new cookbook out, which looks absolutely amazing. It's called Food Between Friends, and he and his co-author, Julie Tanous, put this together, and it is a really, really good time.
It's super fun.
It's super fun. It is filled with all kinds of great recipes that you're definitely going to want to make for friends and family coming up this weekend. It is also very summery, so I think the launch was perfectly timed because the recipes just feel like they're going to graciously move into like warmer weather.
Yeah, and also
so cool.
like when you can start seeing people again. There's kind of there's some good entertaining stuff in there too, I think.
Yeah.
The recipes are built for more than like 2.
Yep.
Right. It's all about entertaining. So he's got a great story behind that. And it's not just him, sort of jumping into the kitchen. Like he is a passionate home cook, right? And he's been doing this for a long time. So we're going to hear his story in a little bit and talk about this brand new book he's got coming up. But I just can't wait to hop on the phone with him because I first met him in 2017 when he hosted the James Beard Awards in Chicago.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I think that it is pretty interesting because as we were talking about, all of these actors and athletes and musicians have all been getting into the kitchen, especially this past year, to kind of show us what they're made of when they've been stuck at home and they've had nothing else to do.
Yeah. And they're usually like on the road, right?
Yeah, and they're right. Like all of a sudden they're stuck at home and they're like, what am I going to do? I'm going to cook.
Right.
But Jesse Tyler Ferguson has been at it for a long time.
He's been at it for a long time, and he's really good at it.
Yeah.
And he and his friend Julie are what they call cooking partners, right? So you have your life partner, and then you have your life cooking partner. So Julie is his go-to cooking partner, and then they've shared lots of great stories in the book, lots of great recipes, and even that moment where they met at a dinner party, which I thought was really just kind of warm-hearted and a fantastic way to kind of get to know somebody, and they've bonded over this forever. But anyway, it's going to be a really, really good story and a great guest. I'm super excited to have him on the podcast today. It's going to be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good deal.
What else going on this week?
So Great Food Truck Race, second episode of season 13 in Alaska dropped last Sunday. It's getting really, really great. So we moved from Anchorage to Palmer, Alaska, which is called the land of the midnight sun when it comes to farming. Like they have the most world's records for different produce, sizes of produce, cantaloupes, cabbages, kohlrabi, broccoli. This little small town of Palmer, Alaska holds the most world's records for large, gigantic produce.
Yeah, there was some big produce on there.
There
was also a lot of crazy wind.
Yeah. It was, and the weather is just going to get worse as the season goes, and it's just going to get darker and colder and more difficult for the teams to be able to kind of flex their muzzle and do what they want to do. But it is such a great season.
Yeah.
It is harrowing to be able to watch these guys just do what they do at a high level, considering all the circumstances.
Great.
Yeah.
And you guys also had a busy day in the kitchen yesterday.
Yeah, we did. We shot 6 new recipes and assets for new cook-alongs that we have coming up for Wolf Down Live series,
Yeah.
season 2.
Season 2, which is
Season 2
dropping.
coming
12 new recipes. They're all fantastic. They're all beautiful, like really, really quick, good stuff, like super creative. I'm very excited about
come
it.
cook with us.
Yeah.
If you guys followed us on social media, starting, I think it was it, when did we kick it off? It was like the second
End of
week.
January, I
End of
think.
January, right? So we started doing live cooking classes last year in 2020, just because, we have the ability to, produce great content. I said, okay, let's go live. So we did 90 live virtual cooking classes in 2020, and now we're doing that kind of open to the public, because a lot of those last year were sort of corporate events. But now we have 12 brand new cooking classes that are coming out starting the 8th of April, and we are having such a good time doing it. And it's really starting to feel like a family, because we're starting to get a lot of people coming back for multiple classes.
Yep.
And then we also launched this new thing, which I think is really cool, called private dining rooms, right? So if you want to cook along with someone who's not in your house, and let's just say, your mother is in a different city on the other side of the country, if you guys want to cook together, we can put you into a private Zoom room at the end of that, and we're calling it private dining rooms. And that way you can leave your laptop open and you guys can have dinner together. So you can cook along during the class and then, kind of catch up on life at the end of that.
So you can all log in with your family and friends across the country.
Yeah.
And still enjoy dinner together after the class.
After the class, right? So there's the class, and then there's the after party, which can be yours, which is really kind of cool. So very excited about that. So new live cooking classes coming up. Great food truck race, season 13 in full swing, right? Sunday nights, 10 o'clock, Food Network, and also on the Discovery app. And before Jesse Tyler Ferguson zooms in today, you guys got a couple of things you want to cover too, right?
Well, we just found this super fun story that we should talk about.
$5 strawberries.
The Tesla of strawberries.
Yeah.
So there's this $5 strawberry, $6.25 if you're getting the large one, and this company out of New Jersey, I think, right? Oishi's
Berries.
Oishi's Berries. They just got $50 million in VC funding to expand their operation.
Yeah, it's a vertically grown strawberry that they grow in New Jersey. Indoors, but they've created this kind of science behind it where they can recreate the alpine environment that this strawberry grows at on top of the mountains in Japan. And apparently it has all the the seeds are unexposed.
I love that. I love that unexposed
seeds,
right.
airy texture.
It's a kind of an inconvenience to have those seeds on the outside,
Yeah. And then it's supposed to just be double the sugar. But apparently, when the writer of the article kind of reviewed it, and they said it's kind of weird how every strawberry looks identical.
It's exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
Sure.
So how do we feel about this? Is it natural? I mean, it's clearly not natural to do this, but is it who cares?
But is
Let's just enjoy
it unnatural at the same time?
I mean, they've been doing vertical
Yeah,
farming
totally.
and
But to me,
Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
There's
when we were
something
there a couple
about
years ago, remember that?
Yeah, Vertical Harvest does
Yeah.
a great job in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. A great program there, but a lot of people have also been just popping up sea-tainers in parking lots places and creating full on oh god, what do you call them?
Greenhouse.
Biodynamic greenhouse
Sure.
is inside these sea
Shipping
containers.
shipping containers, right? Is
Yeah.
that what we're talking about? Yeah, sure.
And they can
But,
control the weather and the rain and everything from their cell phones.
And I love that. But I'm I think something about everything being completely uniform that feels a little bit
the grapple.
It's it's a little bit Pleasantville to me.
Well, so when you get chocolate covered strawberries, right? Like the ones you get at Valentine's Day, the really fancy ones.
From Godiva.
Yeah, they're all kind of the same way anyway, right? With,
Right, but
the perfect length of
they're
stem.
picking through
Sure.
Yeah.
and tossing out the bad guys so that they can have the really pretty big ones.
Well, I think it's worth a shot. I mean, why don't you order them? I'll pay $5 a strawberry.
Well,
Let's get a dozen.
I don't think we can order them yet.
Oh, they're not ready yet.
But the good news right now they're on the East Coast. You can
it's
get them
pre-revenue.
You can only pick them up at
markets
certain markets and Olmsted restaurant and stuff.
Yeah, but how about
with this new VC funding?
Right. Why don't you call them and say, I'm not, dropping names, but a chef on Food Network would like to try some of your strawberries. I bet you can get them shipped out pronto.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Look.
But I'd love to try that kind of stuff because I think that's innovation, right? I think it's innovation. So if you think about, because how much waste and how much labor is involved in simple food harvesting, like strawberries, for example, because like they grow so close to the ground that it's literally back-breaking work to be able to go and harvest all those things. So now they're starting to produce strawberries that are on tables, all right? So it's easier to harvest them, so they need less labor to be able to do that.
Crazy back-breaking. I mean, I've taken my kids strawberry picking before, and like on a hot day, and you're just like, nope.
I'm
not doing this.
I'm going to Whole Foods.
The
This is
science
fun.
behind this is totally innovative.
Take the picture.
I love it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love it too, but I need to try it.
Yeah. They said that even like the fragrance of it is so like aromatic that like you can set it in a room and like walk away and come back and the whole room will smell like strawberries.
Well, by the way, like,
that.
have you ever like, I mean, maybe this is just me because this is the type of things I do, but have you ever like left a pint of strawberries in your car overnight? It's no joke.
Probably. I've left a pizza in the car, that's for sure, which does not smell like strawberries.
I do these things.
Sure.
But it's like strawberries are super fragrant to begin with. So if they're saying that this is like a crazy fragrant strawberry,
I have left Mexican food in my car.
I left my pressure cooker after last week's cook along in my car over a hot weekend. And the whole car smelled like pressure cooked corned beef and cabbage.
So don't look at me weird.
No.
I took that corned beef and cabbage
I'd rather
out
it
of
smell
here.
like strawberries. Believe me.
By the way, I took that corned beef and cabbage, that lovely platter, out of here last week. Put it on my driver's seat, and a little bit of the sauce might have spilled out onto the passenger seat.
How good was it?
And it was,
Wasn't that great?
Yeah.
I had to switch my lease. I had to switch my lease this week, and I wasn't that upset about
how funny is
switching over
that?
with the new car.
Are you still in
I
the
was like,
keys?
sorry.
No,
I mean, I cleaned it, but it was
corned beef and cabbage air freshener.
The guy at the detail place was like, what's happening?
Yeah.
What's for lunch?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was a really great
potatoes.
Potatoes. Yeah, so we had last week was our last cooking class for season 1, and we did corned beef and cabbage. It was just so delicious, so much fun because we did it in a pressure cooker, which is great. So Jesse Tyler Ferguson is zooming in right now. I'm super excited to have him and kind of catch up on this new book, man, because it's just so good. You got to check it out. There he is. What's up, brother?
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing so great. So welcome to the podcast, Jesse Tyler Ferguson, everybody. Fame actor of stage and screen and now the kitchen. My friend, your new cookbook is spectacular. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. That means a lot coming from you.
Congratulations on the book. And it dropped March 9th, right? So it's about a week old?
Yeah, just a week now. Yeah. It's really exciting. Can
I tell you, so I follow you on Instagram, right? And we've been friends for a while. So the first time you and I met was in 2017 when you hosted the James Beard Awards in Chicago, right? That's the first time we met. But then you and I got a chance to, I got a chance to hop on your new show on Discovery because now we're brethren of the Discovery Network, right? So you host the Extreme Makeover Home Edition. And do you remember, it was, I guess it was 2019, but you and I hosted a show, right, where you guys took a home for a family, dropped it, built it back up, and I think it was a 4-bedroom house. And then the producer told me that they did that in 90 hours. It was something just
90 hours.
90 hours. Yeah, it was just something so insane that I immediately got back and I called my contractor and I complained to him because he said it would take 2 months to fix my deck.
I know there's a house that's next door to us. We've lived in this home for 8 years, and the house next to us has been under construction the entire time we've lived here. And the guy who's renovating it was, or flipping it rather, was telling me he watched me on Extreme Makeover, and he was like, "I'm really enjoying it. It's really cool to see even that and sort of that mold." And I said, "Yeah, well, we do our house in 1 week, and this has been 8 years now. You gotta
8 years." Yeah. Yeah, 8 years. I was so incredibly impressed. But then also the craziest thing about that episode, it was in Bakersfield, California, Central Valley, California, and it was 108 degrees that day.
So hot. It was, we did 10 homes for that season, and it was just the hottest months to be in California, like, late April or late August and early September. It's just sweltering here. And it was one hot spot after another. And that one, I remember Bakersfield was especially hot that when you were there.
But we crushed it. I mean, that move the bus moment where they're like, move that bus. And the family got a chance to see the new house.
I mean, nothing better.
There's that is such a magical show. Are you having a good time hosting that? You gotta.
I did. Yeah, we only did one season, and we're not doing another one, unfortunately, because of COVID, and also just I think it was a very expensive show for them to do. You know, it's pricey building a home from the ground up once a week.
In 90 hours.
In 90 hours. It takes a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a ball to do it. I'm so happy I got that opportunity.
And I was so happy to be able to hang out with you and the amazing crew that put that whole show together. They treated us like $1 million, and all the folks from HGTV were there, and it was just such an honor to be able to hang out with you. And then, you know, because I knew you from that, right? And then we knew each other, but then I really had no idea that you, my friend, were such a talented cook in the kitchen, right? Like your new book is spectacular, right? The photography is amazing. The stories are very heartwarming. The writing's really great.
And you know what? I'm here to tell you. So Jesse, we often on this podcast, we like to eat stuff.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't have a week where we weren't eating stuff. So I made a couple recipes from the
What'd
book
you make?
from the book last night, and they are awesome.
What'd you make? Oh, it's
So,
great.
okay, I made
Amanda always shows up with surprises.
two
I love
things.
it.
Surprises. So I made the pimento and green chili roll-ups,
Right.
which I've eaten like 15 of them.
And I
since
want
last
to and I
night.
want to talk about that too, right? Because that's going back to your roots in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
You love a
Yeah.
good hatch green chili.
We sure
you
do.
you love a good hatch green chili. Yes.
What was the other one that you made?
I made the bizcochito cookie bars.
Those are very popular. That's also
my
the
gosh.
official state cookie of New Mexico.
Well, I
Bizcochito.
also I have to be honest. I had to think about our setup here, and like I
Yeah.
really wanted to make the chicken and dumplings, but I was picturing myself like sitting on the
Yeah.
couch with a
Stuff
bowl
that we
of
can
chicken
throw
and
at each
dumplings
other.
in my
Yes.
lap, and I was like, I don't know that that's gonna work for this setup.
How do you share that?
Yeah.
Without making a mess.
But they were great. I have to tell you, I've reviewed a lot of cookbooks in my day, and I have made so many recipes, and you would not believe how many of those recipes don't work. And these
Right.
were like just perfect.
Yeah, Amanda was a writer for the San Francisco Chronicle for 12 years. So she reviewed a ton of cookbooks, and she's been with us for 5 years now. And she and I have written 4 books together, right? So she's a pro with this kind of stuff. So kind of digging through this, I was just like, this is what I think great cookbook writing is all about, because it comes from an authentic point of view, right? What you're doing with your amazing co-writer Julie, and I want to hear more about her in a second, because I just love the way she says crystal hot sauce, right?
Yeah.
Crystal hot sauce, right? Where's she from?
She's from Coleman, Alabama.
That was pure Alabama. I was trying to like dig that accent out. Like I want to know where that's from, but it was like crystal, because I grew up in South Carolina. Right.
Yeah.
So everybody says crystal, but people in Alabama say it specifically different, right? I thought that was
Yes,
great.
they do.
Yeah, but it's just like it comes from a warm place, right? And this is what great cookbook writing is all about, is just sharing kitchen wisdom between friends, right? So you and Julie got together at a dinner party, right? And then kind of fell in love with each other before the first course came out, and decided that you two are now cooking partners for life. And you guys have been doing this as friends, and you got so much great information together, and then inspiration to actually crank a book out.
No, I know it's really exciting to doing a book, and you know this because you've written apparently several, and I've have a few of them myself. But like the Biscochito bar, so good, right?
So good, Biscochito.
It's nonstop homework. It's just nonstop homework, and writing a cookbook is so hard because
Minutia.
Over and over and over, and you have to have recipe testers, and it's just a whole process. So but I'm glad you said that about the writing, because what we kind of realized when we were trying to figure out what this cookbook was going to be was everything's been done. Yes, there's a few like you could put a few interesting spins on some things, but like really everything has been done, and it's just a matter of like what is your version of that recipe. Like we have, as we were just talking about, chicken and dumplings in the book, which have been done so many times, but this was our version of it, and it actually came out of the pandemic, where there was a lot of ingredients that we didn't have on hand to do this chicken and dumplings that we had in mind, and I ended up substituting a lot of the ingredients, and it ended up being a pretty unique chicken dumpling dish. So the writing was really fun for us to do, because it's like, what's the reason people are buying the cookbook? Obviously for good recipes, but I think they truly want to know, your insight to why these dishes mean something to you.
Yeah, and I think it's clear in those head notes that you guys just had fun with it.
Yeah.
And it's rare to see a cookbook that is collaborative like that, where you really
See whose
and
recipes
you really
whose and-
spotlight Julie. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that, you know, often in these scenarios that you would partner up and you would say, okay, will you write this cookbook with me? And really like it would be your name on it, but she'd be doing, and I love the fact that like she's really front and center with you.
Yeah, and both of you like pull out each other's funny, right?
Yeah.
Because you could tell when you guys get together, it's just a nonstop laugh, right?
Yeah, we have a really good time. She's a lot of fun. You know, teaches me so much in the kitchen. She went to culinary school. She you know, is a great recipe developer. So she has really taught me so much with this. And we're both first-time cookbook authors, but she's definitely, you know, more, she's the professional cook of the two of us. But we did want it to be a 50-50 thing. And it's about a friendship as well. And cooking with someone that you care about and sharing the histories of your past with your friends. And I, you know, introduced her to Hatch green chilies, and she introduced me to sorghum syrup, and it's really fun to sort of, you know, learn about the ingredients and the meaning behind those ingredients and why they're special to your friends. And so I really did want her to be on the cover with me, and it's a co-authorship. It's which I also think is unique for a cookbook. I don't think there's a lot of cookbooks that come from two different people's perspectives. So that was a fun thing to navigate.
And not even just a cookbook, but I think you got a platform now, right? I mean, are you guys thinking about doing a show or a podcast or a series or a web series or anything? Or what?
You know, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's interesting what sort of opportunities come out of the woodwork when you publish a book. But yeah, it's, you know, right now we're just sort of loving the moment of having this book that we worked so hard on. We do have a blog, which is what was the inspiration for the book. That's what Clarkson Potter initially saw. Those are our publishing house. They saw the blog and thought, you know, it could be a good book. So, you know, we do have that still, but no cooking show. We're not coming after you yet, Tyler.
Well, listen, you know, there's only room for one Tyler in the food world. I just got to tell you.
That's right.
No, I listen. I'd love to. Hopefully, because I'm getting my second vaccine shot. Boom, 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 coming up next week. So I'll come down to LA and let's cook together. I'd love to, man. Wouldn't that be fun?
That'd be great.
Wouldn't it be great?
That's awesome.
So you're a new father, right? And I want to jump into that. So are you making? And congratulations on all this, by the way, because it's just such a life-changing, wonderful, you know, thing that can happen to everybody, and to really experience like what
it's a fun club to be in. Too.
Yeah, what fatherhood's all about, parenthood. It's so amazing. So so tell me about, like, you know, changing your food habits and, you know, what cooking for a toddler is all about. And are you jumping into like homemade baby food?
I haven't made any of my own baby food yet, which I'll definitely try. But there's so many great products out there now, like much better than the stuff that we ate when we were kids.
Oh yeah, gruel.
You know, really, really great. I mean, I've tasted all of Beckett's food, and I was like, this is delicious. Maybe I'll just have this for dinner tonight.
Yeah, I mean, some of those purees are just absolutely delicious. Yeah, especially they come in a little squeezable pouch. You want to take one on a hike somewhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's been so much fun. I've been wanting to be a dad for a very, very, very long time. Justin is 10 years younger than me, so I was like, it's on your timeline, really. I mean, I wanted him to dive into it when he was ready. I didn't want to make him feel like he was being forced into fatherhood. So we did it. We started the process about 2 years ago, and had Beckett in July, which was so nice to have something. I'm a control freak, and so this pandemic has been really hard for me because there's nothing that I can control. Everything is up in the air.
Yeah.
Every day it's like, who knows what today's going to bring? Who knows when we're going to be out of this? But the one thing that was very certain was in July of 2020, I was going to become a dad. So that was a really nice thing to have to focus on.
And a good distraction while you were stuck in
Yeah, really good distraction.
Yeah.
We were actually doing the photography for the cookbook the day Beckett was born, and we were in Las Vegas because that's where the surrogate was, and Ava Kalenko, our photographer, was up in San Francisco shooting remotely, so we were tuning in on Zoom and watching the whole photo shoot happen while I was waiting for Beckett to come into the world. So that was a really fun distraction as well.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine like having to balance all that out at the same time? Like you've got this, you know, obviously, you know, the birth of your child is such a, you know, life-changing big deal, but at the same time, you're shooting, you know, recipes for your first cookbook. I mean, what a day.
It was, I'm so grateful that they sort of coincided that way because they both seem really, really big and important. In this way, I could sort of be distracted from each one by the other.
But it is absolutely so. I founded a baby food company called Sprout, which we sold it a couple of years ago. But it's the fourth largest baby food in the United States. So I wrote this book, Start Fresh, which is about like the first spoon of food that you put into a child's mouth, and the recipes kind of graduate up until they're about 10 years old. But I'm gonna send you a copy of that because I just think it's really, really great. And so much it starts about here's how you steam food, here's how you sheet pan roast, here's how you some like really good simple flavors. So children start to develop a really healthy attitude towards fresh food right away. And we did so much amazing research on the psychology of picky children, right? So when we were doing research for our brand development for our individual ingredients, right? So we were working with a doctor who's the head of pediatrics for UC Berkeley, and he gave me a piece of advice that was just earth-shattering when it comes to picky kids, right? He said that it is a fight or flight mechanism embedded in our DNA that if a child is not introduced to a flavor, by the time they're 3 years old, they're afraid of it as if it were a poison, as if it would hurt them. Right.
Wow.
So it's something to really think about as you're starting to kind of introduce new flavors to Beckett, right? Like, okay, so, and start creating a list of like, okay, zucchini, squash, roasted red peppers,
right.
artichokes.
Check.
Check.
Yeah.
And it'll just be kind of fun to see how big his list grows. But a lot of parents take that so personally when they make a really kind of beautiful, fresh, delicious meal, and they know it's like healthy.
Right. I was totally going to ask, like, what are you going to do if Beckett's a picky eater?
Right.
Not going to bother you.
What are you going to do as a control freak? How are you going to handle that?
I don't think he's gonna be because the baby food brand that I've been using a lot. There's one called Little Spoon and there's one called Yummy, Yumi, or Yumi. Probably Yummy.
It's probably Yummy. Yeah.
Probably Yummy. I want to try the Sprouts, but they have really great flavor. We gave them something yesterday that was is it Paduk? Paduk? It's banana and it's lentils and beans and cinnamon, actually.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah, it's really good. And I tried it and I was like, this is amazing. So, he's being introduced to some spices and, we're mixing like coconut oil into things for some extra fat. And the one thing he's really not into is avocado. I think it's like a texture thing for him.
Yeah, totally.
He'll come around. He's a California boy. He'll come around.
Exactly.
Yeah, he lives in LA. Right?
He'll have those avocados.
Avocado. Yeah. He'll come around too. That's for sure. Okay, so tell me about the cookbook because there's something really interesting, especially in the forward, that just things that you like, things that you don't like. Like you really hate pie crust, or as the way you phrase it, you said pie crust actually hates you back.
Yes. Yeah. I was never good at pie crust. I had a few epic meltdowns trying to achieve a good pie crust to the point where like my whole kitchen was covered in flour and I had like tracks of tears cutting through the flour that was on my face. It was just
the tears of a clown.
Exactly. And Julie actually taught me she's a really great baker, and she taught me her method for making pie crust. And it was just a few tiny little tweaks. And the biggest piece of advice was just like breathe. It's really not that big of a deal, but she sort of taught me how to conquer pie crust, which was something that I was really grateful for. And we talk about we have her go-to pie crust recipe in the book with her tips, and obviously great ways to use it as well. But yeah, that was it was fun to write about those fails in the kitchen. Like I want people to look at our book and sort of see that I'm a amateur home chef, and I am, I hope to be more than that. I love that Julie inspires me to be more. She's very aspirational, but I do fail in the kitchen, and I hope that people can relate to that, because I think it is disappointing when you have epic fails in the kitchen and you've spent the time and the money to try and create something that just doesn't work out. So we like talking about those moments in the book, and we want it to be relatable to people.
I think those fails are really important, right? Because like that's just the stepping stones to getting it right. Even if you're making recipes up, because Matt and I spend an enormous amount of time, and Matt has been with my company in 2 different iterations for over 10 years now. He started out as our executive pastry chef at Wayfair Tavern, my restaurant in San Francisco, and now joined the company as our corporate culinary director about 5 years ago. Almost 5 years? Over 5 years?
4 years.
4 years. It feels like 25, but we're having a great, it feels like we've been working together forever, right? So we've done, and we, produce our live cooking series every week that we'd love to have you on sometime for like a
Yeah.
cook along. That would be great. But then when we kind of dive into recipes, like our first idea, and I think at this point we're pretty good at getting a pretty good iteration down, but it's usually version 2 or version 3 that makes it to print, right? Or we actually shoot it. So it takes a while to kind of get to that particular place. So if you're a recipe writer, I think you have to have the patience to fail.
Yeah.
Right. And also the curiosity to finish it and not give up.
And knowing that, like,
Right.
if you nail it the first time, then like, hooray, great. Like, but knowing, like, going into it with the understanding that you're probably going to fail first, and then you're not as let down.
You're not as let down, right?
Well,
Because it's a journey, right? Like I'm going to make a banana cream pie. So I got the pie crust down, and then we're going to work on the filling, and then that perfect texture of the meringue, and then the toasting. So all those elements have to kind of come together to get it right. And I think once you make it 3 or 4 times, and even if you're making a hybrid, even in what you had just talked about as far as making a chicken and dumpling recipe from scratch, that's your version of that. It has to be really good. And how many iterations does that take to test it and nail it?
I mean, yeah, well, that's very true. And like, I mean, the chicken and dumpling recipe actually was one of the few that came together on the first try. And of course, I remade it a few times to make sure, and I tweaked a bit. But like, it really was a successful first, right out of the gate. It was something that really worked. Other ones though, there's a chocolate cake in there that Julie wanted to do, a sort of a classic celebration cake, and the frosting. Like, and she was so confident about it because she's a great baker. She's like, I got this. I don't need to worry about it. So like, she really put it off until the very end.
I love the way you're slow rolling this, by the way. I can tell this is going to be a disaster.
And she left it till the very end, and then it was just the mountain she could not conquer. And it was all about the fudge frosting. She had this idea of what it was going to be based on her aunt's recipe, and she just could not. And she submitted one idea to me that was just so overly complicated. I was like, Julie, no one is going to make this frosting.
Yeah.
It was like there was tempering and like
Page
double
2.
boiler and like
Page 3.
yeah, it was just, it went on and on.
Day
and on.
2.
Watch, day 3.
Yeah, right.
I even write about it because that's her recipe that she has in the book, and so she presents the recipe and wrote the head note for it. But I popped in at the end. I said, just a little backstory on this. You can read it. It's about the 19 different frostings she made in order to land on the one that we ended up landing on. But it was a cake that she was so confident about, and then it ended up being her biggest challenge of the entire book. So it was quite a process.
All right, so let's talk about the things you love, right? And you love condiments, am I right?
I do.
You
yes.
love what's the accoutrement, right?
I do. I love an accoutrement.
What's your favorite condiment?
Ooh, gosh, it varies day to day. Roy Choi just sent me some of his sauces, and they're all delicious. And of course, there's like 900 ingredients in each one, and there's probably a lot of sugar in them too. But sriracha sauce, if I had to really boil it down, I think sriracha would be my
hot sauce. You're from New Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to send you some of my hot sauce. We're hot sauce enthusiasts
Yes.
here in the test kitchen, and I usually make a few big batches from scratch every single year. I've got one called the Sicilian Slap.
Nice.
Right. And I've got one called Pineapple Slap. and then I just made a Christmas mole sauce I think you'd love. It's really good. Made out of New Mexican dried chilies. It's really good.
Absolutely. We have a mole in our book as well. We have a smashed sweet potato with mole, and then also a
which sounds
cauliflower
delicious, by
falafel.
the way. That sounds delicious.
Yeah. Really good. And mole is one of those recipes that has a lot of ingredients, so the list can look intimidating, but it comes together pretty quickly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moles that take days and weeks to come to be finished. Like who's that famous chef from Mexico City, Pujol, Enrique Oliveira.
From Pools, yeah.
He has a mole at his restaurant that I think it's the same mole that he's been using for like over a year. Like, and it took that long for the flavors to finally come together. It was like a 365-day mole.
Well,
So-
he serves both of them on the same plate, so they make a mole every single day. But with the mole
Yes.
that they have an older mole that's starting to kind of move out. So every day the numbers change around. It's today's mole, and then mole at like 578 days or whatever it is, right? And they'll put them together on the same plate, so you taste it really, really fresh, and you taste it sort of in this kind of fun fermenty kind of thing, which is cool.
Yeah, they're so
love it.
delicious.
So delicious, so delicious.
Ours is
Wait.
not that.
Right. So okay. So you grew up in New Mexico, right? And you love a good hatch green chili. And how does that really kind of form your opinion on food? Like, when did you knew you fell in love with it? And this is something even as a prosumer hobbyist, right? Like, how'd you know that this is your passion?
I didn't. I was a late bloomer to cooking and to I did know that I loved chili and I loved like hot Mexican food and spicy food. I knew that from very early on, which is a strange thing for a redhead with alabaster skin. Like, we're prone to not want to have spicy food, but I certainly loved it. But as far as like cooking for myself, I was a late bloomer, and it was actually after I moved to Los Angeles. I lived in New York for about 12 years. And I had a very, very, very tiny kitchen, and I just was uninspired to cook. And there was so much great food available to me in the city, so I just would eat out all the time.
And that's when you were on Broadway, right?
You can like order a grilled cheese at 3 a.m. Why do you need to cook?
Exactly. Someone else will do it for you.
Right.
And it's also where, like, I mean, I wouldn't say I was sheltered in Albuquerque, but I certainly stayed in a single lane. And when I moved to New York, I tried, Indian food for the first time, and sushi and Pakistani food, and it's just really great, cool new cuisines. And but when I moved to LA, that's when I became a little bit more ambitious in the kitchen, because I had space to actually cook in. And I actually considered going to culinary school, but I didn't have the time because I had a full-time job called Modern Family.
Yeah.
So when you were on the set of Modern Family, I mean, like, did everybody know that you were the cook? Like, did that play into anything?
I mean, Eric Stonestreet's really good with the grill. Ed O'Neill, Ty. They're actually, most of the cast was pretty good in the kitchen. I was just the only one that wrote a book.
Right.
Do you guys ever eat together now? Do you ever feed them now?
The last time I saw Julie Bowen and Sofia Vergara and Sarah Hyland for my birthday last year, and I didn't cook for them though. But I did feed them. But I would bring in like baked goods to the trailer. Sophia would get a cake delivered to her house every single week. So on Thursdays, she would bring whatever was left of the cake. She needed to get it out of her house, or she would eat it all.
Cake day. It's Thursday cake day.
She would just get like a random cake delivered.
Yeah, look at that. It's
absolutely. Every week she'd get a cake delivered.
With a few slices missing.
That's goals right there.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, that's when you've made
Right.
it. When you have fresh cake every week delivered to your house. But our hair and makeup trailer ended up turning into like basically a bake sale, because I would bring baked goods, and Eric Stonestreet's girlfriend would bring Rice Krispie treats, and so that's what I made for the cast, was baked goods usually.
Little side hustle going on.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great, man. So we had a couple of things that we wanted.
Bizcochito, by the way, as far as baked goods go.
It's really, it's perfect.
Totally.
Man.
And
New
I
favorite
want
cookie.
you guys to try these.
Love it.
You
The
guys gotta
fennel
try
is
these
delicious,
too.
right? The fennel's really good, and I just love that beautiful kind of aroma that you sort of taste it with your nose, right? The fennel seed. It's so great.
Yeah. Did you use fennel or did you use anise?
Anise.
Anise.
Right? Anise. Yeah.
Anise.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
You can use fennel in a pinch.
Yeah.
But yeah, the traditional biscochito is made with lard, so it's like a shortbread type cookie, and it's dusted with cinnamon and sugar after coming out of the oven, and they're cut in like fleur-de-lis patterns. And so these cookie bars, I wanted to like sort of do a spin on them and make it a kind of like a blondie type bar.
I love it. It's a great base for anything.
Right.
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay, before we let you go, we have some.
Yeah. So there's this fun game we started last week on the podcast where we started with Tyler, and it's kind of like these quick fire questions, like one word answers. Just going to rattle off some questions. Some are going to make no sense whatsoever. Some you're going to maybe have to think about it a little bit. But if you are down to play, we'd love to have you on our little quick fire.
Okay, let's see how it goes.
All right.
You're like, I'm not making any promises.
I'm saying okay now, but let's just see how it goes.
Okay.
Best thing you made during the pandemic?
Chicken fingers.
Nice. Fun fact about you that no one knows, or secret hobby?
I mean, I guess a lot of people are just learning that I cook.
There we go.
That's a good
Now
one.
they-
That's a
now
good
they
one.
know.
Yeah, right.
Favorite kitchen tool?
Zester.
Good one. Favorite Instagram account you follow?
Oh, there's so many. Tyler Florence.
Favorite dish to eat?
Green chili chicken enchiladas.
Down with that.
That was the other one I wanted
Yeah,
to make. I
that's
wanted to make that
down
pie.
with that. That's great.
Yeah.
We made an enchilada lasagna yesterday. We're testing that one out. It's spectacular, dude.
Sounds amazing.
Person that's made you nervous to cook for.
Padma Lakshmi.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Savory or sweets?
Savory.
Least favorite food or dish?
I would say sweetbreads.
What's your late night snack?
M&Ms.
Favorite spice to use?
Hatch green chili. Does that count as a
So I,
spice?
got- I was gonna say, I think it counts.
Yeah, sure.
I'll allow it.
We'll allow it. If you had an aardvark, what would you name it?
Tyler.
I'd make a great aardvark, right? Yeah.
Favorite food city?
Ooh, Chicago, I think.
Chicago's
Ooh,
pretty
good
fire.
one.
Chicago's
Chicago's a good
fire.
one.
But LA, I gotta tell you, what's happening in the food scene in Los Angeles right now is second to none, man.
Yeah.
No, we're doing pretty good out here.
Yeah.
If you were stuck on a desert island, what flavor sparkling water would you want?
Ooh, the pamplemousse LaCroix.
There it
That's
is.
what it's one of my favorites.
It's a classic.
I like that. Yeah, the pamplemousse.
Smoothies or milkshakes?
Milkshakes. Not a monster.
If you could have any other career, what would it be?
I'd be a chef.
A chef, a
I love
professional
that, man.
chef.
I love that.
And our last one, have you ever cooked a frittata wearing nata?
Just a big apron and a smile, you know?
I sure
Yes,
have.
you have.
I love it, man. Great job, dude. Well, listen,
Awesome.
congratulations on the new cookbook. We highly recommend it. I just got it 2 days ago. Amanda's already burned through 2 recipes, and I'm going to be cooking out of it this weekend.
Yeah, I can't
and
wait to cook more.
it's a lot of fun. It's really beautiful. The photography's great. It's so casual. The recipes are so well written, and it seems easy and attainable, and I think everybody's going to really get a lot of use out of it. So it's food between friends. Jesse Tyler Ferguson, my good friend, so great seeing you again. Thank you so much for hopping on the podcast. And
Thanks for having me.
I'll see you when I'm
Thanks,
in LA,
Jesse.
man.
And send our best to Julie as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
I sure will. Thank you, guys. Thank you all. So nice to see you, Tyler.
Great to see you too. I'll see you later, man. Thanks so much.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, buddy.
Bye.
Take care. Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was good.
That's fun.
He's so fun, right? So, like I said, the first time I met him was in 2017 in Chicago, and literally our conversation in the green room was just rapid fire stuff like this.
Yeah.
And he's just so friendly and fun and cool and interesting, and obviously just loves food. Well, guys, what a fantastic week. Thank you so much, Jesse Tyler Ferguson. Yes, the other Tyler in the food world. Happy to have you. Welcome to the table. The cookbook is Food Between Friends. Out now wherever you get your cookbooks. It's a really fantastic read. Definitely one I know you guys are going to love. Thank you so much to my co-hosts, Matt and Amanda. Thank you for producing this, Nick Angelo. Thank you, Don Miggs and the Whole Damn Mess for our original soundtrack. And thank you so much for watching Wolf It Down. Leave us a comment if you're checking this out on YouTube and Instagram television. And if you're listening to this on Spotify or iTunes, make sure that you recommend it to a friend. We'd love to kind of pass this around because we're having a great time hanging out with you every single week. And we will see you guys next time on Wolf It Down. Thanks so much.
Cheers.
Bye.